Attraction isn't some magical power or secret spell. It's not luck or something only a few lucky people understand. Attraction is actually more like a game of energy and presence, how you carry yourself, how you interact, and how much control you have over your actions and emotions. Yet, so many guys mess this up. They follow bad advice or no advice at all and end up stuck in the same painful loop of giving too much and getting too little back. Let's talk about that loop. You meet someone you're interested in. You start texting first every time, responding to their messages the second they come in. You try to be as funny, kind, generous, and present as possible. You think that being always available will make her see how serious you are. But what happens? She pulls back. She becomes distant. The messages become short. The energy shifts. And you're left wondering what you did wrong. Here's the truth that most guys never hear. Chasing rarely creates attraction. Constantly proving how much you care doesn't make her stay. Telling her that you're a good guy and not like other men doesn't earn her respect. These things, while they may seem sweet or sincere, actually create the wrong kind of energy, an energy that repels rather than attracts. Attraction at its core is about polarity. It's about tension. It's about presence, not pressure. Women don't pull away because you're nice. They pull away when they feel like the emotional balance is off, when they feel you're more invested than they are, when you give your attention too easily and ask for nothing in return. Attraction fades not because you weren't good enough, but because you made yourself too easy to get. You removed the challenge, the curiosity, the tension that fuels desire. This video and this conversation isn't about pickup lines or games. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding a much deeper principle, how to move in a way that naturally creates attraction, how to hold your own energy so that people are drawn to you without you needing to do or say much at all. It's about stepping into your power, not to dominate or manipulate, but to create a calm, grounded presence that people want to be around. Think about how real power works. It doesn't shout. It doesn't chase. It doesn't try to impress. Real power just exists. It's silent. It's stable. It's rare. That's what creates gravity. That's what makes people lean in. When you learn to embody this kind of presence, everything changes. You no longer feel the need to beg for someone's time or attention. You become the person who naturally attracts simply by being. This is not about playing cold or pretending to not care. It's about clarity. It's about knowing who you are and not needing to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself. It's about becoming the kind of man who commands respect without having to demand it. A man who doesn't seek approval because his own approval is enough. That kind of energy doesn't just attract, it holds attention. It creates lasting impact. Let's start with one of the most misunderstood ideas: mystery. Most guys kill attraction by being too predictable. They respond the same way every time. They share too much too soon. They let her know exactly how they're feeling, even before she's had a chance to wonder. But here's the deal: mystery fuels attraction. When someone can't fully read you, they start thinking more about you. They get curious. They lean in. Machiavelli once said that people don't respect what they fully understand. That's true in relationships too. When someone feels like they already know everything about you, how you'll act, what you'll say, how quickly you'll reply, they don't feel intrigued. They feel in control. And once they feel that control, they stop trying. There's no need to chase what already feels certain. Attraction fades. So stop announcing your whole life story on the first date. Don't send good morning texts every day like clockwork. Don't double text after a few hours of silence just because you're feeling anxious. Let things breathe. Let the silence do some of the work. When she doesn't know what you're thinking, she thinks about you more. That's when the pull happens. That's when attraction builds without you needing to push. And in today's world, your online presence matters just as much as your real-life presence. If you're constantly posting selfies, commenting on every girl's story, and trying to prove how fun or successful you are, it doesn't make you more attractive. It makes you more visible, yes, but not in the way you want. It makes you seem like you're trying too hard, like you need attention. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. Instead, make your online presence rare and meaningful. Post things that reflect your life, your purpose, your growth, not your need for validation. Share high-quality moments, not every thought or feeling. Let your profile speak without screaming. The goal isn't to get constant likes or replies. The goal is to leave people curious. You want her to think, I wonder what he's up to, not, he's always online. Silence is powerful. In a world full of noise, someone who doesn't overshare stands out. Someone who doesn't chase attention becomes magnetic. That's how you stand apart. Not by doing more, but by doing less with more intention. Show who you are, but don't spill everything. Keep some of your world private. Let others earn access to your time and energy. Another common mistake is explaining yourself too much. Whether it's why you didn't text right away, why you said something a certain way, or why you acted the way you did, over-explaining makes you seem unsure. It puts you in a position where you feel like you have to defend your actions to be accepted. But a confident man doesn't do that. He stands by his words. He lets his actions speak for him. When you carry yourself with self-trust, people notice. You stop needing to justify everything because your energy already says, I know who I am. That kind of self-belief is attractive. It creates a feeling of safety, confidence, and mystery all at the same time. You don't have to fake anything. You just have to stop explaining and start trusting that your presence is enough. And remember, attraction isn't about always being dominant or in control. It's about balance. It's about being grounded, clear, and emotionally intelligent. When you can stay calm in moments where others react, when you can hold tension instead of breaking it with nervous words, you set yourself apart. You become memorable, not because you're loud, but because you're different in the way you show up. Ultimately, this all comes down to energy. The energy you carry into conversations. The way you respond when things don't go your way. The way you hold space for silence, curiosity, and depth. When you stop trying to be chosen and start becoming the chooser, everything shifts. You no longer depend on her validation to feel worthy. You already know your worth. That's what creates real attraction. So the next time you're tempted to chase, to explain, to overshare, pause. Breathe. Let her come to you. Let the space speak. Trust that the right person will feel your energy and be drawn to it, not because you begged for attention, but because you showed up with quiet, undeniable presence. This isn't about turning into someone you're not. It's about removing the behaviors that block your natural magnetism. It's about stepping into the version of you that's calm, confident, and grounded in who you are. That's the kind of man who doesn't need to chase because he attracts without trying. You don't need tricks. You don't need to play cold. You just need to show up with purpose, presence, and power. Real attraction starts when you stop performing and start being. When you hold your ground, speak with intention, and live with clarity, the right people notice. And they stay, not because you ask them to, but because they feel the pull that only real power creates. If you find yourself constantly explaining your words, apologizing for minor things, or trying to prove you're different from others, you're placing her in a position of judgment. This dynamic turns her into the evaluator and you into someone seeking approval. Such interactions don't spark attraction. Instead, they create pressure and monotony. In real-life situations, if you make a bold statement and she responds with a skeptical look, there's no need to panic. A simple smile and a confident remark like, "You'll figure me out later," can suffice. If she questions why you didn't reply promptly, a calm response such as, "I don't rush things that matter to me," conveys self-assurance. You don't need to defend your pace. You need to embrace it. Confidence isn't about being loud or boastful. It's about remaining composed when misunderstood. A man who doesn't feel compelled to explain himself at every turn maintains an air of mystery. And mystery often leads to intrigue. People are naturally drawn to what they find intriguing. Being emotionally selective means you care, but you don't overextend yourself emotionally. It's okay to be caring and gentle, but maintaining emotional control is key. If every affectionate gesture from her makes you overly excited, or if her withdrawal causes you to overthink and chase, you're being emotionally reactive. This reactivity gives her control over your emotional state, leading to an unbalanced dynamic where she has nothing to prove, and you're doing all the work. Instead, practice emotional selectivity. Offer compliments when they're truly earned. Match her energy rather than giving yours unconditionally. Don't pretend to be indifferent, but also don't give your all to someone offering only a fraction. Medium, for instance, if she becomes distant in her messages, resist the urge to send lengthy texts. Simply slow down your responses. If she cancels plans at the last minute, don't plead. A simple "all good" and moving on is sufficient. Attraction isn't about constant availability. It's about making her wonder how much of you she truly has access to. Building your own life and pursuing your passions makes your time valuable. When you're focused on your goals, whether it's your career, hobbies, or personal growth, you naturally become more attractive. You don't seek attention out of boredom because you're already fulfilled. This fulfillment radiates confidence and purpose, qualities that are inherently attractive. In online interactions, if she leaves your message on seen, resist the urge to follow up repeatedly. Instead, focus on your own activities and let your absence speak volumes. In situations where she gives less and you find yourself giving more, take a step back. Not to punish her, but to uphold your own standards. In public settings like the gym or a class, there's no need to over-engage. Being friendly yet composed, maintaining good posture, and staying focused are more attractive than trying too hard to impress. Remember, power doesn't chase. It shapes the environment. When you stop trying to convince someone to choose you and instead focus on choosing yourself and your path, everything changes. She'll notice the shift because you're no longer seeking validation. You're creating your own gravity. So, instead of asking, "How do I get her to like me?" ask yourself, "How can I become so grounded and intentional that she can't help but be curious about me?" This approach isn't about playing games. It's about cultivating self-assurance and purpose. If this perspective resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on it. Share your thoughts or experiences, as it might help solidify these ideas for you and potentially assist someone else on a similar journey. Engaging with others on this topic can foster a community of individuals striving for emotional strength and clarity. Let's work together to build minds that are resilient and self-assured.